does.
But let's talk about, for a second, what the museum is all about first. And I don't know which one of you wants to take that responsibility, but anyone will do. And let's talk about what the goal of the Regional History Museum is. Looks like it's going to be.
I guess I'm relegated with that answer, aren't I? Well, the Battle Creek Regional History Museum it has a location, 307 West Jackson Street. Our goal, obviously, is to have a regional museum. There is a lot of rich history in Battle Creek and the surrounding areas, and that is what we hope to showcase to everyone, to show them how rich a history Battle Creek really has, and instill that in everyone. We should be very proud of what's gone on here.
How do you? I imagine this is sort of a balancing act. I mean, you're looking and preserving our history, but then as events and things happen, do you look at it with the historical purview and say, boy, we better remember that because that needs to be part of our history and remembered as part of the museum?
Well, sure. I mean, you could, I suppose, from like a collector standpoint, you have to save everything because you don't know what will be the historical pieces in the future, and sometimes you really don't.
Yeah.
And that's why I bought a house, so I could start saving all that stuff, just so I could start saving all the Battle Creek stuff. Because my friends would always get upset because we'd go to different things, and I'd say, pick up 5 programs. And they'd go, why are you picking up 5? I said, well, you've got to save them because I have to have one for my file and one. And because I said, history's happening right now, and 100 years from now, people will be fascinated with this. I don't know if they'll be fascinated with us on the program, but Richard, they'll be fascinated with your program.
Well, I don't know about that, but we're here now trying to help out with
there we
that
go.
anyway.
That's good. Yep.
So let's just throw something out there on our way to the break here in a second. Is there something in our history that always surprises people when you talk about it?
Kurt, you answer.
No,
that.
I'm not real sure I can come up with something really good.
Well, one thing we could talk about, and I know I mentioned it when we were talking with some other people about the publicity, is the fact that the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King was here in Battle Creek in the early 60s. He spoke at the First United Methodist Church downtown. And a lot of people don't realize that, and that he actually had dinner and stayed in a home over on Orchard Avenue, which we will be passing during the Candlelight Stroll this weekend. So there is history right in all of these neighborhoods and throughout Battle Creek. And it's something that both Kurt and I grew up with because our mother was so proud of Battle Creek's history, and she taught us from the time we were tiny how important it was. And what we do here and what has happened here in Battle Creek affects people across the world, not only Sojourner Truth, but Kellogg's and Post. And so we have quite a history that we should all be proud of.
I'm glad you brought that up, that I didn't point out that Kurt and Diane are siblings. And,
yes, we are.
And so, that was good to point out. You and I, Linda, we're just along for this ride here.
That's right. Yep.
All right, when we come back in a minute, we'll talk about the Candlelight Stroll, what that is, and its history, coming up in just a minute. WBCK. 16 WBCK. Here we are talking about the Battle Creek Regional History Museum today. Diane Buckley is the chair of an event coming up soon called the Candlelight Stroll. Kurt Thornton is here too, and Linda Holderbaum also. Let's talk about the Candlelight Stroll. First of all, what is it, Diane?
Well, it's an opportunity for us to showcase a section or an area of Battle Creek with historic homes, and it fits in perfectly with the museum. It's a chance to highlight history, and each of the homeowners, there are 5 of them, have done research on their home and tell a little bit about the history of their house when people get there, and then share traditions and any of the decorations that they might have.
So how did you decide which homes are on the tour?
Well, this is the first year. We've done this many times before.
Yes.
When I was the director for the Historical Society forever and ever ago, we initiated it at that time, and it was such a great event, and it became a tradition for people. We had people that came from Greenfield Village tour guides used to come every year to our home tour because they loved the history we had here in Battle Creek. And so we did that for 5 or 6 years then, and then it went by the wayside. And when I left, and then when I worked for Neighborhoods Incorporated, again, I thought, perfect, we're going to highlight a neighborhood. And so we selected homes, and we did that a couple of years, 3 years, I think, for Neighborhoods Incorporated. And then when I left there, again, it went by the wayside, so it kind of seems to be the thing I like to do. So we reintroduced it. It's a perfect opportunity to highlight the homes and people talk about their history, and there is so much of it. And so 5 homeowners are going to open their homes, and people will come through in groups. We have tours and guides that will lead them through the neighborhood, and they'll walk, and it will be a walk. So they start at the Art Center. It's we'll have delicious goodies that are homemade, and people will be able to browse through the Holly Mart, buy lots of Christmas gifts because they have beautiful things. It's always the downfall when I come in there at Christmas time to spend a lot of money. But and then from there, they'll be divided up into the groups, and they'll leave with their group and go to a different home. And walk through the neighborhood. So it's a great evening. And hopefully it will be a tradition that people will start and want to come year after year.
And this is Friday and Saturday, right?
Saturday and Sunday.
Sunday, that's it.
Yes,
okay.
And 2 times each evening, 4 and 6. And believe it or not, we've patterned it after Marshall's Home Tour that's been around for 35 or 40 years. And they do an excellent job over there, and so we've done a lot of things the way they do. But it is a walking tour, and it takes about 2 hours, so they'll start at 4 o'clock, and then it'll be about 6 by the time they get back, and then the next tour will be starting.
Okay. And you've been kind enough to bring along a free admission. So if you have a group, or even just a couple of you that want to go, the group would like to give you an admission free for that group.
Yes,
so there's
one.
Opportunity
to join us.
Is there a caller you'd like to give that to? 3, 4, 5? You pick it. You pick it. Which caller would you like?
3.
All right. Caller number 3 right now will get an admission to the Candlelight Stroll. 441-9595 is the number. Caller 3. Kurt, your house is on this tour.
Well, yes, I was just thinking, darn it, I can't call in because I don't have my phone to get a free ticket. But that's right, my house is on the tour this year, and it's been, I'll say the word fun, setting it all up again and dragging all the Christmas stuff out of the basement because I put a bunch of my toys under the Christmas tree. And this year I have 3 Christmas trees. I have one that has traditional stuff and toys under it. Then I have my silver, which is really tacky but cool, Star Wars tree that I put Star Wars ornaments on.
That's good timing.
Yes, and with 16 days till the movie opens.
That's right.
And
but who's counting, right?
No. And then I have another tree that I put Star Trek ornaments on because I didn't have enough room on the Star Wars tree. So, and I'm not trying to segregate them. It was just how it worked out that way. So it's been fun setting it all up, and hopefully people will come enjoy seeing all of the stuff I have around the house.
All right. Well, we'll talk a little bit more about the museum and the homes on the tour, at least to whet your appetite a little bit when we come back in a moment on WBCK Weather-Watch. .823 WBCK. It is Wednesday, and coming up this weekend, the Candlelight Stroll, and that is you'll be supporting the Battle Creek Regional History Museum in participating in that. By the way, congratulations to Jim Calloway. I don't know if he's of the golf ball fortune Callaways, but did get a pass that you so graciously brought with you today.
If that's the case, then he could buy lots more tickets
for
his friends to go too. That would be really good.
See how my mind works? Right to the golf ball. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So the homes that are on the tour, give us a couple of little interesting facts about them. First of all, the pictures of them are just gorgeous. These are beautiful, beautiful houses.
Mm-hmm.
They are.
I'd like to say mine's the probably least attractive out of all of them. When I bought my house, it had a flat roof on it, which how dumb can you be to buy a house in Michigan with a flat roof? But I thought it was going to be okay. But within 3 weeks, the walls were bleeding, and it was just not really good. So I've had a peaked roof put on that Neighborhoods Incorporated helped me do.
Wow.
It's been an interesting journey. I've been there just 25 years. Last week I've lived in that house.
Well,
so.
congratulations. So give us a little notion of the history of that house.
Well, and I was telling Richard before, and I don't know if this is an off-color story, but the gentleman who built my house, Robert Sawyer, he died in the house 7 years after he built the house.
Oh,
And
my goodness.
on the anniversary of his death date, I walked through the house and call out his name. Luckily, so far, no one has responded, even though Linda suggested that if I did tell people that someone responded, that might get more people to come to the tour. So at this point, this is that make-up history part. Yes, he talks to me frequently, usually on Saturday and Sunday nights between 4 and 8. Nice. So there.
Very nice.
Was that a good
Thanks,
tie-in?
Gert.
Was that a good tie-in?
Maybe ghost hunters will want to come to your
there you
house
go.
now.
Uh-huh.
That's right. That's right. Give us a couple, Diane, other little nuggets about some of these homes in the tour.
Well, I was just noticing and looking over some of the information I have here that both the Macon home and the Fryer home were built in 1902, which is kind of interesting. The Fryer home on Orchard, and I thought this was kind of interesting. The man who built that house, David Fraser, he built the house next door as well for his daughter, and they had a tunnel that ran between the two houses until I think they said the 1940s. So that's kind of interesting.
Well, I suppose if that ended up with two different families, you might want to close that off.
Which it has been done.
Unless there was a ghost in it.
It's going to keep working that, isn't it?
I'm trying.
All right. So, Linda, the museum, how did we get started with this?
Follow that.
Yeah.
Linda, are there ghosts in the museum?
That's right.
There could be. Yes. There are ghosts everywhere.
All right. Yes, there could be. Well, and you know that's part of history. If you've done your job, when you walk into the museum and you take it all in, you feel like you're there, and maybe it does feel a little ghostly, but still you feel like you're living the history.
Right. Well, you're hearing those voices from the past.
Yes.
In one way or another, whether it's
Exactly.
written or visual or whatever.
Nice tie-in.
Yeah.
Thank you. It took me a while to figure that one.
So, you look around at history, and somebody finally said, we need to preserve this and create an official entity where this takes place. How did that happen? Do we know?
Well, and this group has been in existence for a long time. Yeah, Diane originally, I believe, chaired the group, and the original purpose was to find a place to store the collections, because there are some very, very phenomenal collections in this town, and as the collectors get older and start dying off, it's what's going to happen to this rich history.
Somebody has to take the responsibility.
Yeah. So that was the original purpose. Then we ended up with the building on Jackson Street, and right now we are working to obviously raise money to do the improvements we have to do on the building to really make it a museum. So, we are open Saturdays and Sundays. People can stop in, but it is what we call museum light. Only the front section is open, where the displays used to be, because this was the old Battle Creek Equipment Building.
Oh, sure.
And they had a display area in the front, so that we have very small exhibits in there just to get people used to the idea that, there's going to be a history museum here. And there is a little gift shop. People may come in and buy things, and they're all donated items, so all the money obviously goes to the museum, and you can peek through the back doors and see what's going to be the museum, and that's what's fun to look at.
Well, and if you've done your job, you get to a point where you have to grow, and it sounds like that's where you're going.
Yep.
Well, congratulations on that.
And I want to mention that Linda's done a really good job trying to make it a regional museum. We've had meetings with, we've invited historical groups from all over the area, from Albion, Marshall, Bellevue, Charlotte, all over, because we want this to be a regional museum. A place that people can go, and even if they come to see our exhibit, we will have information for these museums so people can go and find out about their area and their heritage also, which I think is a great move that Linda's tried to work on, making it really regional, because that's what we're trying to emphasize.
All right. Well, nicely done. Candlelight Stroll this weekend. Let's tell them one more time where to go and how to get a pass to get in.
Okay. They go to the Arts Center of Battle Creek on Emmett Street. Tickets are $15 per person, and they have to be purchased by Friday because we divide everybody up into groups.
Got it.
So please get in there and get your tickets as quickly as possible.
All right. It's as easy as that. Congratulations on this, and best of luck, and let's stay in touch.
Richard, thank you so much for letting us be on your show. This is very nice. I listen to you every morning between 8 and 9 because that's when I'm at work. Even though I'm working really hard at the county, I am listening to you in the morning.
Thank you very much. Thanks to all of you, and best of luck this weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.